Hello. So, I know why you click on this video. Let's get started with the tools that you need to create this. So, the first thing that you need is of course the paint. And the paint that I will use is a half pens, mostly. And let's see. To achieve this kind of color, oftentimes I have to mix colors that are complementary to each other. Let's say this purple, I mix it with orange. Basically, I'll tell you what colors I'm gonna have when we started painting, but mostly all of this paints that I have is mostly from Mijello. But it doesn't mean that you cannot recreate this painting if you don't have the same paint as I do. Any color works just fine, but make sure you use a kind of similar color to achieve something like this if you want to exactly replicate this. So, and for the paper, I'm gonna use Bohong 300 GSM. This is a sketchbook that I made myself. If you would love an in-depth tutorial about how to make it, you can just comment down below. I will make it for you if you want. And then for the brush, I will only use 2 brush, which is a fluffy squirrel kind of brush from Art Creation. I'm not really sure if it's actually from squirrel hair or it's just an imitation of the squirrel hair, because it is rather cheap compared to Silver Brush Black Velvet or something like that. And this is a Pro Arte rigger brush, but this is a sable brush. This one is a lot more expensive than this one, so I'm not sure if this is real. For the water, wait, why my accent keeps changing? Okay, so I don't normally use this type of plastic cups, but because for the sake of this video and because it's really, usually I have something bigger like this, but recently I started to use plastic cups more because it makes me a bit more mindful about when am I gonna dip my brush and wash it clean. I'm gonna have 2 cups of water, one for the dirty work and this one to take out clean water. So you always have 2 cups. I'm gonna put it right here, and don't forget your, no, you know what, let's put it here so I can have space for my really ugly rag for absorbing the excess water that I have on my brush. First thing first, before we get started painting, it is really important to wet the paints. Oh, this is a color chart that I made exactly for this color palette. Get them moist and wet. Turn it around. The color is exactly match with this one. Okay, so I am going to mix the colors for this one. It has an Opera Pink. This is Opera Pink by Jackson. Opera Pink is a very, very bright color. And then I'm gonna mix that with I don't know the name of this shade, but this is from the Decadent Pies from Art Philosophy. Usually I don't really plan out my palette, but it was a bit interesting to already have the paint ready when you wanted to start painting. And you will notice that I do not wash my brush the entire time I'm mixing paints, because I feel like that's just a waste of a really good paint. You don't want to waste that precious little paint on your bristles when you can just use it. This is a Van Dyke Brown, I believe, from Van Gogh. How do you say Van Gogh? Is it Van Gogh, Van Gogh? Like a K in there, or G, like the English spelling. How do Dutch spell it? Was he even Dutch? I don't know. Anyway, and then for the purple, let's mix it right here. I have the same brown mixed with the purple, This is a what's that really bright? Dioxazine Violet from Mijello too. This one. Dioxazine Violet. And whenever I dip my brush slightly into the cup, I'm just taking a little bit of the water into the palette and not even washing it. And then right here, I'm gonna mix the green with that same purple. You know what? Let's move it a little bit. I don't need you yet. It's a bit dark there. I have this really luscious green. I don't remember where or what. I don't remember what was the brand, but I don't remember the exact shade. But this is from Roman Schmal, if I remember correctly. God, I haven't painted for like forever. I forgot most of the shade names. And there's no information about it. All I can do is guess which one is which. But yeah, this is green, as you can see from the color chart. This is really dark, beautiful green. Let's test the green. It's not even green yet. I'm gonna add more of that green. I believe this is Viridian. God, I don't remember. Excuse me, guys. Look at that, it's so beautiful. So dark. And if we dilute that with water, it's gonna be like this. And we wash it. And then look at this thing. So beautiful too. And then I'm gonna test out the pink. I think it's a bit too orangey. I'm gonna add a little bit of Van Dyke brown in there. I love Van Dyke brown. Whoop, too dark. But it's beautiful. Look at that. But it's not even similar to what I have there. But since we're gonna recreate this, let's mix more color. Let's add more opera pink there. I think that's close enough. Okay, there we go. And then the purple, my favorite part. Oh, look at that, so beautiful. Alright, I think we're done with the color mixing. And since the cup is already dirty before we even start, I'm gonna replace the water with another clean water. There we go. Okay, so for the first round, I'm gonna paint this one first. That's the rose. And let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. You want to create a C line, like a curved in here and there. And then when you reach like that, when you feel like it's enough, it's big enough, I want to mix it with a little bit of the brown. And then I kind of dip my brush twice, 3 times. And then make a really big C curve. You see the paints kind of bleed out because it has barely any paint there. And if there's no paint left, you can always add more paints to it. Usually on a more serious painting, I have 2 brushes for a rose like this, but it's kind of like a hassle to always replace the brush on your hand. it takes time, and we don't want to waste time here. And then another one, we're gonna paint another rose in here, but with the purple color. I'm gonna add a little bit of the orange into the purple mixture just to mute it a little bit. Let's see how the color turns out now. Oh, look at that, so beautiful. I love dark purple. And then when you feel like your brush is loaded enough with paints, we can start again with another C curve for another rose that has petals outward like this. The same technique, but it doesn't need a lot of small C curve because it's kind of like a smaller rose. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't have enough water. Just a tad bit to add more water there. And then you paint some kind of like a curve. Like that. And I'm gonna wash it clean. Where are you? Don't go too far away. And then make another line with just clean water. And then before this paint dry, I want to add the leaf with this beautiful dark green color. You want to press down really quick when you create a leaf, and then lift it up until you only reach the tip of your brush. I think it's not dark enough. I'm gonna make another mixture of the green. So what I want to do, I mix the viridian. How do you say the viridian? Viridian. It doesn't sound like a color name to me anymore. And then I'm gonna mix it with, which one is the PV19? This one, I believe. And then I'm gonna mix it. I wash the brush because I don't want to contaminate my pink paint. Just too pretty. I mixed that two colors together. Remember, this pink is the complementary of the viridian. I believe the name is Conakry Rose. Yeah, I guess that one. And then, oh, look at that. Look at the color. And I'm gonna wash it a little bit and just blend it with no paint. There we go. And then I want to turn my paper around upside down so I can focus on this part. I'm gonna put the brush down and replace it with the rigger brush that has a very long bristles. And I'm gonna go in with the thing is, when you pre-mix your paint, it tends to get dry so quick. So if that happens, just spray it with a little bit of water. What was the mixture before? I don't even remember. But this thing, and a little bit of that beautiful Van Dyke brown, and I want to create like a forest of lines. I don't even know what that is, but you get what I mean. English is not my first language, by the way, so apologize if there's any mistake on my grammar or something. Or any correction is also very much appreciated. Okay, that's it. You know what? Let's move you a little bit to the right. There we go. And then I want to go back to this brush. You want to have a little bit of space between this center with the rest of the rows that you already made. And I want to paint it with a very diluted of the opera mix that we already made before. And just kind of, oh my god, this is giving me so much trouble. Okay. Just kind of make something like this, you know, but make it like that. Make it like, there we go. If the brown bleeds out, it's okay. And then I'm gonna mix more of the opera pink with the Van Dyke brown. And this mysterious color, I believe this is kind of similar with brown sienna, burnt sienna, but I cannot be too sure. And more opera pink. More! And then you kind of just put it at the tip of the petal. And then I'm gonna completely wash my brush and blend it nicely. This is the first layer, so of course it's not gonna look so nice. Okay, and then for the last flowers, we're gonna use another mixture of this thing, but I'm gonna mix it with this. And then just kind of like a really huge something like that. And then with a slightly wet brush, this is still really wet, but it doesn't have any paint in it. And then I'm gonna mix that with the purple. This time it has more purple in it than the brown in some sort. To give it a little bit of pop of color. And I think it has a little bit too much paint there, so I'm gonna lift it up a little bit to lift one color up, you need to have a clean brush and just lift it. Clean and dip, not wet, because if it's wet, it's gonna, instead of picking up the pigment on the paper, your water will transfer into the paper instead. So we don't want that. So I'm gonna go with the green. But again, because the green is not dark enough, I'm gonna add a little bit of Van Dyke brown. And just make luscious leaves. And oftentimes when I paint, I lost my ability to speak. And then we're gonna create more over here. This time I'm using the color brown mixture. And somewhere in here as well. And we're gonna put down this brush for a little bit. And I'm gonna pick this one up. I just realized I never actually get to use this. But we are going to use it. You're not gonna laugh out, buddy. Okay, so I'm using the brown mixture again to create really, really, really small branches right here. It's just kind of random like that. And we're gonna throw it away. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Now I'm picking up the purple mixture and put it there, like a random lines, but not really random. You don't want to make it really full with it, because we're gonna mix it with another paint. I'm washing it and grab the ochre pink mixture, but this time it has more ochre than the brown. Again, we don't want to make it full. And I'm gonna wash my brush again, and this time I will go in with a clean brush that has no pigment at all, and just kind of glide the brush over the already existed paint. More leaves in here as well. I think it's ended up looking a bit too big than the previous one that I already made, but you can never create two identical painting at all. Even though you are the same artist, you're the same person who created, it's never gonna look identical. Unless you create a hyper-realistic painting, which of course that would be a different case. I'm adding more lines into the this is flower. Bless me. it's too dry. You don't want a dry brush to blend the color, but also not too wet. So you have to practice to figure out which one is too wet, which one is too dry, and which one is just the perfect amount of water in your bristle. It all comes down to the practice, not talent. I don't know, I despise people who say that you're so talented. No, I practice. It's not talent. I'm not talented. It's just skill that I picked up on. Yeah, but anyway, sorry for rambling. But this one is done, but I think it needs a little bit more, some fillings in there. There we go. And then this one too, I think it needs more definition. Oh! And I'm gonna blend it. And right now I'm just adding a little bit of lines in here and there to fill it up. And this is pretty much done. I kind of miss one more flowers up here, but it's already too full. And this is what we ended up with. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you do recreate this, please tag me on Instagram at fitkamgami. And I will see you next week, hopefully. I'm still trying to figure out how to do YouTube properly. I will see you again. Bye-bye.